Okay, alright, after some testing, make sure this is working. Alright, this is for the sound effects on the doors and the chain gunner guy. So I have some thoughts on how the chain gunner guy sounds could really work. Um, I don't dislike the sounds that you've provided. The kind of like type stuff. It's pretty good. It's kind of similar to what's already there. But first, I'm going to go over the doors. Now, there's only two different kinds of doors in the game. The mechanical door and then the kind of like wooden door, right? So like you got this mechanical door is kind of like plays the same sound for opening and closing. If you need, I can hook up a start and a stop sound. I don't mind where it plays two different sounds and starts and stops. Currently, this is the same sound that's used for lifts, and it's a sound effect that's sorely needed right now. Um, and on that note, we got the same kind of door. I mean, it's exactly the same kind of functionality, same timing, same everything, except it's more it's like wooden and more like a stone and wood kind of door. And right now sounds just like any of the other doors. Um, this would be more like something like that, like kind of I don't know. I can't really imagine what it would probably sound like, but having some kind of like um, it's for like in a hellish environment because there's a hell area in the game, and like that's mostly just stone and wood and like old like the mechanical parts are more like are more old, like medieval in nature and stuff like that. Okay, so with that, the chain gunner guy. So I like the sounds that the chain gunner guy like you've been providing pretty good sounds. The only thing is I don't know if just those sounds like I don't know if that will necessarily. I don't know exactly what I want, so I'm just gonna kind of go over what I have in mind, and hopefully that'll help. But one thing that is missing from the game sorely right now is a spin up sound for the minigun. You hear the minigun doesn't have a spin up. This is partially important for the minigunner as well because the minigunner can play that sound whenever he fires his weapon. But there's no spin up sound for any of the guns. Any of the guns with spinning barrels, you don't hear a kind of a thing. It just doesn't exist, which would be pretty cool. We could do it really simple, where it's just one sound and it goes re, and then the re kind of like just fades off re re, but it could just be like one sound, or we could probably like try to do it where there's two different sounds together, and like one continuous loop that just turns off once the gun stops firing. But and then you have this they're like starting re kind of thing. But with that said, oh, I think that's actually possible. I can do it just in the engine itself using the sound files. I can modify it so that it just sounds like a spin up, and it keeps going higher pitch and then just stays at a certain point while the sound is playing. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to place the chain gunner guy. You can be able to hear the sounds that he currently plays in the game right now. Okay, so his alert sound is pretty similar to a lot of the alert sounds that you already did. Oh shit. I gotta make sure he actually spawns. that's his death sound. So my thoughts on the sounds that he has currently right now, uh, the kinds of like zombie-esque voice sounds that you have are pretty damn close to what we just heard, right? But the only thing that would really set him apart, I think, would be is if he sort of mumbled things like, chain gun heavy, or something like that, kind of in a low voice, and or if maybe he kind of like had like a couple of funny things to say. But what would actually really help differentiate him, other than just his heavy footstep sounds, is if you could kind of hear his and in his idle sounds, if you can kind of hear his equipment going. That combined with the fact that whenever he's about to open fire on you, if you can hear the spin up of his minigun, where it goes, you know what I mean? Like you can actually hear it spinning up. But if he kind of like chain gun heavy, kind of, or like, not chain gun. Would you call it a chain gun? Or would you call it a minigun? Big gun heavy, or one to put bullet. I can't. That's too long. It would have to be like short shit. It would have to be real short stuff. But something kind of like that combined with the sounds of like his equipment kind of because his minigun would have like a big bullet belt, and like that would all kind of like have kind of like a sound to it where while he's breathing heavy and doing all that stuff, you might hear sort of like his equipment kind of clanking, and sort of this sort of slight auditory uh, aspect to it where it's just sort of like you know what I mean. And I think that would probably be it. Like you pretty much almost have the right sounds for his like zombie sounds. I mean that's pretty much it. Like, but his alert, I'm not really sure what his alert can be. Maybe if it was like get him, something like that, get him. You know what I mean? All right. So that's that. Like if because he can talk, the other zombies really can't. Like the regular zombies would probably just use the same sounds that they're already using right now. But in his case, like these guys, some of the higher tier zombies can actually kind of like mutter certain things out, um, like that, and the minigunner guy would kind of be that way, and I think that would actually be pretty cool with him. He's over there. Not like that. I did it badly, but like over there, get him. And then you just have a bunch of sounds too, where he would just be like doing his regular, the other sounds that you've already done. But then you'd also kind of hear his, you know what I mean? Also too, the being able to hear the spin up, being able to hear the spin up of his minigun. And then if it's possible with his death sounds where he kind of does his like, if his shit falling onto the ground, like he's got a really big heavy body, and if his gun, this will all just be part of the same sound. Like it could be the same sound each time, it doesn't really fucking matter. But like if it was just kind of, you know what I mean, like on top of the sound of him going, and that was just kind of rolled into one thing. What'd I get? Motherfucker, I got a damaged minigun off this guy. I've been looking for that for fucking ever. You know how fucking lucky this? Oh my god. Yeah, of course. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video now.